Jen here, and I have a layout for you for the Off the Board series. This month is 30 days of Off the Board. So Crystal is being joined by a bunch of people who are, some are doing the full 30 days with her, others are just popping in here and there throughout the month. And yeah, it's tons and tons of inspiration. The Off the Board series was inspired by Crystal actually doing 30 days of this last year, and she's back at it again this year with a bunch more people joining. But essentially what it is once a month we go through our Pinterest boards, we find some Pinterest inspiration, and we use it to create a layout or a project of some sort. And so it's tons of fun to see what everybody comes up with and how they're inspired by so many different things. I mean, on Pinterest you have everything. And so it might not be scrapbooking related, but anything can inspire you in some way. So the inspiration that I picked for today was that really just beautiful picture with the balloons, and they're kind of caught in the sunlight, and there's a bit of that rainbow to it, and I just thought they were so pretty. And I also I liked the way that they were kind of hung on strings, and so that's really what inspired me, was just a lot of those beautiful colors, and then also the concept of, well, I don't do a string, but just kind of like a row of something, or like a repeating shape. So the picture I'm using, you can kind of see it just above my arm there. It's upside down, but it is a little tiny hermit crab that my daughter found when we were in St. Martin's at the Sea Caves. And I just thought that the idea of repeating circles would work really well for this, because we're, in a kind of rocky area, so there's lots of little pebbles you can see there. And then the hermit crab is kind of this lime green, kind of the color of moss, I guess you could say, maybe even a little bit yellowish. And so I just really wanted to get some of those brighter colors in there. So you can see when I went through my papers, I picked a few that are really super bright in pinks and yellows, and I made sure to get the greens in there. And I just wanted it to be kind of fun, because it's a really cute picture, but there's not a ton of color to it, just because it's mostly rocks. And so I wanted to bring a little bit of bright pops of color to it, and then kind of have these repeating circles in rows, or I don't know. At that point, I didn't really have a full plan. I just kind of wanted to make it look like the picture, where there was sort of a point and it was radiating out from that point. And so to give a little bit of interest in the background, because I knew it was going to be a simpler layout, I didn't want to add a ton of embellishment or a ton of extra details. I'm really trying to limit myself with my layouts right now to about an hour or less, because I just want to get this album done. I'm so anxious to get it done. So I find sometimes if I don't give myself a time limit, I will just play and play and play and fuss and rearrange and stuff like that. So I'm trying to make sure that I work within that hour time limit and I don't overthink things too much. So I knew it was going to be a little bit simpler of a layout, and so I just added a tiny touch of mixed media here with some watercolors. I didn't even really mix a new color. I just, what was already on my palette, I kind of sopped that up, and it was just greens with a little bit of brown in it, and that kind of matches the background with the rocks, and there's moss and stuff like that. And so just to add that touch of detail, or that touch of interest to the background behind my circles. And most of it gets covered up, but you just see it kind of peeking through here and there. And then I'm going to pop my photo up as well. So I'm just using some of my foam from Dollar Tree. This foam is super thin, which I really like, because you can manipulate it and kind of, get it to do what you want it to do, and you can stretch it and make it even thinner, or you can double it up, which I'm going to do here, but I needed 2 full pieces because I'm doing a full 4x6 photo. And so you can see I'm kind of sticking it just slightly off to the side, and then my circles are going to kind of come out from the photo. So I stuck them together when I took them off because I knew, well, and it sort of didn't work because I'm still fussing, but I knew that once I put them down, if I liked the way they looked and then I didn't stick them together, that I would end up not being able to get them back into that same kind of pattern or shape. So I stuck them all together, but even doing that, I'm still changing my mind and kind of making them work with the mixed media that I did. It's pretty simple though, so I mean you can't really screw it up. They look good in whatever kind of pattern you want because all the colors match and they're all just really fun and bright. And I just picked random scraps of paper that I had in my kit or some 6x6 pages. Like I can see there's some simple stories in there. I have some 6x6 papers from I think it's called Happiness and Sunshine, and just a few other bits and pieces here and there, some Doodlebug I think, and some photo play paper, and even some crate paper is in there. Just lots of random bits and pieces. I basically just wanted kind of a rainbow of colors. And then I'm going to rearrange these little ones here at the end to kind of be the point where they're all coming from. And the punch I used, I do get a lot of questions about that. So before I forget, let me tell you, the big punch I used that has the handle, that comes from Creative Memories. I don't know if it's something that they have continued to sell, if they still have it. I have a friend who is a consultant or was a consultant, and it was a special deal that she was able to get. So I got the handle, and I think I have 4 cartridges that go with it, but that's the biggest circle punch that I have. So I pulled that one out first, and then the other one, I actually think the other one is also Creative Memories. And it just has the two smaller ones. I really would like to have some different circle punches. I find that square or that kind of rectangle one a little bit hard to use. I sped it up, so you might not have noticed that I was struggling a bit with it, but I find it hard to kind of punch down if you only want one of the circles and not both of them. So I should really invest in some Fiskars or something like that, but I never think to when I have a coupon. So I put all my circles down, and then I added a few little extra bits there, just little things that I had pulled off of sticker sheets or from chipboard and little things like that, little die cuts, teeny tiny circle die cuts. I kind of filled in some of those gaps. There's some stickers and stuff in there too. Again, all just random from different places. I just looked through my How to Kill a Kit with Style kit for July and picked out anything that was either the right color or maybe it had a little seashell or a star or something like that on it that I could add into those little nooks and crannies and kind of nestle them all together. And then now I'm just creating a little kind of title area, I guess you could say. I really wanted to make sure that I brought some embellishment up closer to where the hermit crab is. I didn't want to put arrows and kind of be like, hey, look, there's a hermit crab here. But I wanted to give your eye the opportunity to try and find it in the picture. And it is brighter than all of the other rocks, so you can definitely see him there. He's quite large, which is why we took a picture of this guy. We followed him for a long time, and he was a lot bigger than some of the other ones that we were finding. And so when he finally settled there, I took a quick snapshot of it, and I thought it turned out to be such a cool picture. But I want you to at least see that he's there. So I made that little kind of title embellishment cluster, I guess you could say, using some of the stickers and some ephemera from the Summer Lights collection, all again part of my kit. And now just to add a little bit of shine and some different colors, I'm going to put in some of these little sequins. Those come from KaezMum Scraps. They're exclusive to Wild Whisper. That mix is called Copper Moon, I think. So it had some pretty pinks and purples and blues And of course, there's copper moons in it, but I didn't use those, obviously. But it's such a pretty mix. So I love the little kind of touches of sparkle that it adds to my clusters here. And I'm going to go through a few things trying to figure out what I want for my title. I was really trying, I didn't want to use alphas necessarily because this is another page where I don't need a big title and a whole bunch of journaling, and I have all these little word stickers and phrases and stuff, and so I'm always trying to find ways that I can put them all together to create a title that way. There's some scrappers that are just so good at doing that, and every time I see it I'm like, wow, how do I not find these? But I think I did pretty good. So I used the letters just to spell out new. I do have to go in and make my F into an E because I was all out of E's, but that's really a simple fix with a white marker. But I put new friends, and then underneath it says you and me. So I thought that was kind of cute, and it used up a couple more of those little phrases. And then I splattered with some gold, and of course I'm going to outline it. And that's it. It's really a very, very simple layout. Just, I wanted to showcase how cool the picture turned out, and I wanted to add a little bit of fun, bright color to it, but that's all I'm going to do, and I love it. I think it turned out so cool, very different for me, so I like when that kind of thing happens. And look at how cute the little crabs are. They're adorable. So I'm leaving the links to everybody else who's playing along today so you can go and check them out as well and be inspired by whatever they are finding on Pinterest. And until next time, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Happy scrapping. Stay safe. Bye.